2 places since the start. Round the outside line goes Danny, who now goes for the race lead, but he's fighting back on Prix for life in a minute, and the Red Bull just about holding his position. And here for round 5 is going to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Malou wins here in Baku. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along for the first time ever here on the Jack Rusty Comms channel to Formula OB-1 for the 3rd round of the season here in Bahrain. A small showing of drivers tonight, unfortunately, with 8 people, but I'm sure as time goes on that is going to be a larger number, of course. Monkey Gamer here in the Ferrari, then Wild Track in the Williams, Johnny C and SD Bookie in the Mercedes cars, Clunky Boy, who I've seen before in the Haas. We've got Mikadir in the Williams, Sunday in the Haas, and Waben in the Racing Bull. But a quite nice and chilled out race for us then. I would normally say this evening, but it is the morning for me, of course. Over in Australia it would be the evening though, and that is of course why the times are a little bit different. But 16 minutes of qualifying then, ladies and gentlemen, to start us off. And then we go into a 50% race here around this Bahrain International Circuit. We'll have a look who's on the way around. I think Monkey Gamer is going to be the first driver to set a lap today. There is a few drivers out there already, but Monkey's looking to be the closest person, to the line at the moment. We've also got Waben. He's just started his outlap though, so yes, it is Monkey Gamer to be the first driver to set a time today. Cross the line then. And this will be his first flying lap in the Ferrari. Down towards turn 1 then. Goes Monkey locking up then the front rights, but kept it nice and controlled. Through the first few he goes. A very technical first few corners there. Has to get it right then to maximise the time. And the exit was great all the way down towards the right-hand side. Now Monkey's currently on not a bad lap. He did lock up though, and now the back end's sliding out underneath him with a bit of oversteer. And he is fastest first sector, of course, being the first driver to do so. There's quite a few people following him in his tracks now, with the Williams behind now, going quickest in that first sector and beating Monkey Gamer on time at the moment. We've also got Johnny C on a flying lap. His first sector wasn't purple. We've also got a few Haas drivers as well. Clunky Boy, his first sector was quickest now, so he's the quickest in the first sector at this moment in time. And it's going to change like that quite a lot through the course of this qualifying session. Still 14 minutes remaining, so a lot of time for the drivers to get the work done. And it's Monkey now who is quickest in that middle sector. Let's see what the Mercedes of Johnny C will be in the middle sector, as well as the Williams down in P6. Is this Williams does go quickest in the middle sector then? Let's see if Johnny can beat that time then. Middle sector he goes. It isn't quicker for him. But at the moment, Monkey Gamer then will round off his first time of the day. Across the line then for the Ferrari. What will the first time be? It's 1:29.359 then. Over the line for Mikadir then in the Williams. Can he beat that time? He can beat it by a huge margin. It's a 1:27.853 then for him. Beaten by a lot. Johnny over the line now. It's a 1:29 flat for Johnny. As the Hasses come over the line now. Clunky Boy a 1:27.3. Much quicker than the Williams here, and the Haas driver on pole position at this moment in time. That is a very nice time indeed then for the Haas. How long can he hold it for though, as not everybody has set times yet. Wild Track in P6, he's towards the line now. Fuel light on, so running as light as a feather, and it is the Williams setting a 29.7, so unfortunately the slowest of the pack at the minute. Waben then in the Racing Bull, the only Racing Bull here tonight, and we are waiting to see what lap time this will be. Heading up towards the end of this second sector now here in Bahrain. And it isn't looking like a too bad lap time. The middle sector, it's a 1:06.446. Around the final corner then for the Racing Bull. And what will his first time of the day be with 12.5 minutes of qualifying left? It's going to be 4th place, smack bang in the middle of the grid then for the Racing Bull. Not a bad effort at all, as SD Bookie is going to start his first lap time. The only driver on the grid now then yet to set a time here in qualifying. And has a little bit of work to do then. There's a large gap between the drivers up at the front then. Clunky Boy a 1:27.3, Mickey D a 1:27.8. And Sunday's a 1:27.8 as well, and the lap time between them only about 100th of a second, but it is SD Bookie then who goes quickest in the first sector and looking pretty quick at this moment in time, and he has to try and continue this form through then if he wants to set that fastest time of the day. It doesn't come in the first sector, but he has found a lot of time. He has set a beautiful first sector. Now the middle sector is still to come. Can this middle sector be good as well for him? We can only hope so as he makes his way around. And into the second sector, it's a 1:06.889, and fastest in that middle sector then for Bookie. This is looking very nice indeed then, up towards the final few corners now, into the final sector here in Bahrain for the Mercedes. His teammate Johnny C then lines up P5 with a 1:29 flat, half a second to the man in front of him. Bookie looks like he's going to absolutely blow this out of the park, and it's P5 though, a 1:28.957. Not a bad time. Ahead of his teammates, which is always a positive for him, of course, battling with him. But Bookie just ahead of Johnny here in 5th position. Clunky Boy currently then the quickest man, and this is another lap around for him then. A 10th improvement, but it's in the pit lane at the end for Clunky, and that'll be the end of his lap. Always nice to see him again. Of course, used to commentate his league, weekly Super League, on the Thursdays, I believe it was, and don't get to see him very often, of course. I don't really commentate the Aussie leagues, but when it matches up with my times, I'd always like to get involved. Wabin then in 4th. He does find a bit of time in the first sector as he locks up going into the right-hand side here and has some work to do if he wants to get into the place in front of him into 3rd place, because the gap is pretty damn large. About 7/10 of a second then. Between them at the moment. Of course, Sunday in 1:27.8, Waving on a 1:28.5. A lot of time to find for this RB if he wants to at least gain 1 place. He does find 4/10 of a second then in that middle sector. It's looking pretty strong, but he has to continue this form then towards the end of this lap. And is it possible for him as he heads around the final corner and looks to go quicker today? 4th place at best for Waybinnen with 1:28.555. Can it be an improvement today for the Racing Bull? It's looking like it will be slightly. As he crosses the line, I don't think he did improve that. Sunday over the line as well. Potentially starting the lap now. Yes, he is. A lot of battery in that car and on the hot lap mode all the way down in towards turn 1 then. His teammates, currently the provisional pole position holder. And there's a few tenths of a second between these drivers at the moment. But Sunday has absolutely got a chance here of taking this if he wants it. Oh, the back end comes out for Sunday then as he spins the car around. The Haas driver catches it in a spin. And that'll be the end of his lap. He invalidates as well after going out of the white lines. So Sunday's lap time is incomplete and will not set another one at the moment. Still 8.5 minutes to go though, so more than enough time if the drivers want to go round again, which of course a lot of them will be doing. With Wild Track at the back of the grid, he looks like he's doing that so far, as well as Monkey Gamer. Not found any time in the first sector for Monkey then, but we're going to go to Wild Track now and see if he has found any time in this first sector. He has a 10.5 then, nearly 2 tenths there, you know, in the middle ground. Not looking too bad at the moment, but it has to get this middle sector right now. Of course, the lap has to float, but he slows down, and that'll be the end of that lap, unfortunately. I'm not entirely sure why he slowed down, but he has. Maybe he lost all the time out of that, out of the right-hander, but that'll be it for him at the moment. Clunky Boy then, heading slowly down the main straight, but he's out again, most importantly for him, and preparing for another lap around. Coming out using all of his tyres because he wants to maximise that time that he can get, and he's not far off the 126s here. Clunky's a fast driver, and he can absolutely get himself in those 126s. Only 3/10 of a second needs to be found. He's got more than enough time for this. Mickey Deere second place, Sunday third, Wabin 4 as Johnny C currently lines up P5, and not a bad effort from him. Wild Track, of course, we've just watched, but he rounded off his lap time early, unfortunately. So the only thing we've really got at the moment is Johnny C, who improved by half a second on his previous lap around, but still no positions gained. Through the first sector line we go. The fuel light is on for him. He's massively down on time. This is his in lap, of course, as we can go to Clunky Boy, potentially. He'll be starting his lap very, very soon, as well as a Bookie, who is on an out lap. But he does look like Clunky's going to go for another one. When he gets towards the line, of course, he's invalidated his out lap at the moment, but that doesn't matter at all. 6.5 minutes to go of qualifying, and this Hats driver has got a very good chance at pole today. Huge margin between him and Mickey Deere in second place, and of course he's out there again looking to find more time to extend that pole margin even further, and something's telling me, come the Grand Prix, he is going to win it by a huge, huge margin today. Might even lead every single lap of the Grand Prix. We'll find out how it goes, but locking up in towards the turn one then here in Bahrain for Clunky Boy, currently on pole, but has to get this right now if he wants to extend that pole margin. He's got his Haas teammate in front then, which gives him a bit of a tow. Sunday moves out of the way. Clunky Boy gets past him, and now with a little bit more speed and potentially a little bit higher on the delta, but it's not. 400ths of a second down then through the sector one. Still time to be found then through the second and third sectors, so it's not all over yet for Clunky, but the first sector wasn't exactly how it had planned to be. Only half of his battery left as well then as he heads down to the left hand side. The car grips to the ground on the off camber corner, and now Clunky flies down towards the end of this middle sector. His first sector wasn't ideal. Now into the middle sector, sorry. Is this going to be an improvement? He needs the improvement today. 300ths of a second then, and it's purple in the middle sector, of course, so he does find a bit of time on his previous lap time, but hopes and dreams of getting into that 1 minute 26s isn't looking alive anymore. Into the final sector we go, into the final corner now for Clunky. It's a 1:27.307 to beat. Found a bit of time in the middle sector. Here comes the final sector now. Clunky does improve by nearly 0.2 of a second. Not into the 1 minute 26s though, however. It's a 1:27.115, and an insane effort from him today, as the gap between him and Mickey Deere is absolutely humongous at the minute. About 0.7 of a second the gap. Mackie in the chat. Hello, mate. Welcome into the chat, mate. Glad you joined us again in the morning. Well, Mickey Deere then on a lap around, currently on the front row of the grid, and a lot of time to find if he wants to be on pole. Not looking likely at the moment, really, really isn't. Clunky has just absolutely thrown that out of the park. It's been a brilliant effort, but we'll find out how it ends up today. Then Sunday, of course, Clunky's teammate helped him down the main straight earlier. It isn't looking like he's going to be getting the same treatment, unfortunately. In the pit lane for Wabin then, SD Bookie on his lap around as well with only 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Clunky Boy then, of course, on his in lap. Mickey Deere on the lap around into the second sector. Will it be an improvement? He's 0.4 of a second down then is the Williams. It's looking horrible for him at the moment. He's currently lapping in the 1 minute 28s, which is really not where he's at the moment, so needs to find a bit of time here. A lot of work to be done. Around the final corner then, not much more now. Over the line, it's going to be in the pit lane. He knows it's over. SD Bookie then in P6 in the Mercedes, but unfortunately has invalidated on his lap around, and that'll be the end of his qualifying session at the moment. Sunday with invalidation as well. And the only thing we can really watch here at the moment is Johnny C or Monkey Gamer. Both drivers about to start their laps. Johnny starts his lap now. And down towards turn one we go with the Mercedes driver. Locking up slightly in towards turn one. We've seen that a few times from countless drivers today. Well, Johnny C then making his way towards the end of this middle sector. And he's currently lining up P5 on the grid today, so not a bad starting position. But he would like to go even higher than that. Over that second sector line, it is 0.4 of a second found. 0.4 of a second could potentially get himself up in towards P4. This final sector needs to be absolutely bang on right. The middle sector was good. This final sector needs to really push it over the line. 0.4 found completely at the minute. What's it going to be for Johnny over the line? Still 0.4. Not enough there to get ahead of Wabern. Still 5th position at the end of that lap. And these are the final lap times of the day then. Monkey Gamer over the line for his final time of the day. Still P7, 2.5 seconds down. SD Bookie on an outlap then. Wabern and Mickey Deer and Clunky Boy all on the same as well. And we're going to get ready to watch them for their final times of the day. Is Bookie going to make it towards the line? It is not looking like it. With only about, less than a minute left, actually. It's not looking like he's going to make it. Yeah, 40 seconds. Bookie will not make it towards the line here. Oh, a Ferrari. Monkey Gamer's gone around as he gets himself back on. He doesn't want to be doing that in the race. Monkey Gamer does retire from the session on the track as well. Clunky Boy then invalidated on this go around, but his final time of the day, pushing now as he doesn't want to get caught out by the line. Over the line then for Clunky for the final time of the day. And 5 seconds left. Bookie's not going to make it at all. This is the end of qualifying then, everybody. Bookie will not make it towards the line, and that will be the end of his session. Clunky Boy did make it, and in towards the first sector he goes. Currently on pole, using all the tyres that he's got and making absolute good use of them. Nearly 1/10 of a second found in the first sector. He knew that he's got the tyre. Oh, he goes wide into the marker boards then. Clunky Boy into the barrier. Retires from the session. He was finding time, but rages out at the end and unfortunately does not take any more time. Wabern then in 4th on his way around for his final time of the evening, and the only driver now to set a time, the final time of the afternoon. What is Wabern got in store for us today then? Up towards the line he goes. It is nearly 0.4 of a second found for the Racing Bull in that middle sector. This is going to get him a few places gained. Wabern's looking for second place here. This is a beautiful time at the minute. Round the final corner then for the Racing Bull. Absolutely rapid at the moment. And foot to the floor with a fuel light on. He's running so light now, is Wabern. And he takes second place at the end here for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Well, here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. Bahrain qualifying results. It is Clunky Boy on pole position by half a second, nearly 0.6 then over Wabern second place. Sunday in 3rd, Mickey Deer 4th, Johnny C 5. It is SD Bookie 6, Monkey Gamer 7, and Wild Track in 8. That is your grid for this evening, and we'll see you very, very soon. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen, 5 lights ahead of the drivers here for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It is lights out and away we go, and Clunky Boy gets a great start off the line then down in towards turn 1, but quite a long run then in towards the first corner. Weber's going to try and take it away from him, but the Haas car gets a good start. 3 abreast in towards turn 1 for the drivers behind then as Sunday gets up to second place now behind his teammate. Weber drops down into third place, Mickey Deer down to 4. Monkey Gamer now fighting with Johnny C, who takes the inside line now up towards the right-hand side. Can he get ahead? Looks like he can for a moment. He's through past the scooter here, Ferrari. Now Johnny into 5th place today. Wild Track then up to 7. SD Bookie starts at the back of the grid then now. He's at the back of the grid, unfortunately, at the moment. Down 2 places since lap 1. Clunky Boy, though, leading in the Haas car ahead of his teammate. Could be a Haas 1-2 in the early stages. Early foreshadowing here for the drivers. Potentially that could happen then. But 28 laps ahead of us after this one. And a long way to go. With 8 drivers joining us this evening then. Clunky ahead. There's your pit strategy. The 2-stop, the 3-stop is apparently what we're going to get. Soft, medium, hard, or the soft, medium, medium, hard is the strategy that we're looking at. But this is going to be the battle of the Hasses here. Then as Sunday is really bringing the fight to Clunky. He's going to look up the inside line here for a potential overtake on his teammate. Can he do it then? He's putting masses of pressure on him. And fighting all the way down towards the final corner. Here comes Sunday then, using a lot of battery, I assume, to try and get himself ahead of his teammate. Looks up the inside, not enough room there to get in front. Has to wait his turn. And just holds back for a moment, but the drivers head round the final corner then towards the line. Clunky with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix now as his teammate is looking for an attack up the inside. Can he get ahead then? He's getting ever closer now up the inside line. His teammate goes through for a moment. Sunday leads the Bahrain Grand Prix ahead of Clunky Boy now in second place, who took pole. But now this is the perfect opportunity for him to take it back. His teammate Sunday looks up the inside. Now Clunky takes the outside. Back ahead he goes. And really, they're probably just going to be helping each other get in front, aren't they? And this might be some tactical play between the teammates. Mickey Deer then in 3rd, Weber in 4th, and these guys are fighting at the back as well. And a really good top 4 fight we're seeing at the moment with the drivers. Running it wide there for Waben then. He might even lose a place here to the Mercedes behind, but Johnny sees a little bit too far back then to capitalise on the situation there. The 3rd lap of the Grand Prix begins then at 29. Clunky Boy leads still ahead of his teammate Sunday, and these two working together incredibly well, but they've got Mickey Deer on their tail and not letting go at the moment. This Williams really sticky behind and not wanting to let go. The back end slides out there, really struggling with the rears there. And that's going to build a bit of a gap between the front few and him. Here comes Sunday then, up the inside for the Haas, on his teammate again, and now leads the Bahrain Grand Prix for the 2nd time of the evening. Sunday ahead of Clunky Boy. It is Mickey Deer then in 3rd place now. Can he capitalise on this as the front 2 battle? The Williams gets drawn even closer. This could be a 3-way battle now for the race lead then on the 4th lap of the Grand Prix in a moment. Heading down towards the right-hand side, the final corner. Mickey Deer can't make that overtake just yet, but Clunky is holding on to the backside of Sunday. Now down towards turn 1 we go. Clunky getting ever closer. Looks up the inside. It is an overtake, most definitely, for Clunky Boy. Back again, leading the Grand Prix as he veers to the left-hand side very harshly. Mickey Deer now ahead of the Haas. As Sunday with a huge bit of contact on the backside of his teammate there. Mickey Deer doing what he can. But not an overtake there, unfortunately for him. And now this is bringing Wabin into play as well. Oh, Mickey Dear's tyres then sliding out there in the Williams as he does what he can to keep himself in third. It's looking decent at the moment, but still has work to do. The Haas they're just fighting up at the front, and Sunday once again now ahead and leading this Grand Prix. But Clunky, of course, will not let this one go. And what we've seen many times is he'll stick behind now, and then when he gets that dose of DRS down the main straight, he will slingshot through. Or he might even do it right now. Clunky rear-ending Sunday. You can see he's on purpose waiting for the DRS. He knows how to play the game. Migadir looking up the inside as well now. Maybe because he waited. Now he's got a Williams then on his backside. Both of them are going to get the dose of DRS. Sunday's going to be able to pull away slightly because of this. Here comes the Williams then, who's in on the action as well. But Clunky sends it up the inside line. Might have overshot it there. He did overshoot it. Clunky goes massively wide in towards turn 1. Now comes out with the Racing Bull of Wabham. Down to P4 goes Clunky. As Sunday, now your Grand Prix leader. And Mickey there fighting for the lead now in second place. Well, it's been a brilliant, brilliant Grand Prix so far, ladies and gentlemen. Only lap 5 of 29 laps that we have. Only just started this Grand Prix, but a really, really good amount of action we've witnessed so far. Sunday as your Grand Prix leader, and he's took the lead many times today, but locking up now in towards the left-hand side. He does lead the Bahrain Grand Prix. Mickey Dear second place, Wabin third. Clunky sent it too wide in towards turn 1. Got a bit overconfident with the DRS and just oversped then and missed the braking point, unfortunately. Did go wide, but in 4th place and still not far away from the drivers now. This will be an overtake on Wabin. Sends it up the inside line. Now that's one driver down out of the 3 that he was on. Now he's got Mick in front. Is he going to make this overtake? Yellow flags then. We've got Wild Track retiring from the session then. He's up the inside line goes Mick, and now gets rear-ended by Clunky. The top 2 go around. Clunky Boy leads now as it's 3 abreast down the main straight. Round goes Sunday into the barrier for the Williams then as Clunky punts him into the barrier. Mickey Dear hits the wall. And that looked pretty unfair there. Wabin then gets ahead. Clunky in second place. Johnny C third. Sunday 4. Mick then locks up in towards the right-hand side turn 1. As Bucky's now on the backside of him. What on earth just happened there? It looked like Clunky punted him into the barrier from my angle. Well, that was a rough few corners. Well, yellow flags in the middle sector, and it's a Ferrari. And Monkey Game at the back of the grid now in P7. Wild Track then retires from the session earlier on. And Wabin as your leader, but Clunky Boy behind. It's been a bit of a chaotic few laps then on the 6th lap of 29. Here comes Sunday on Johnny then for the podium place. Sunday making those places back. And now he's moving up to 3rd position. This is a really, really good overtake from him. And some good progress from Sunday. Mickey Dear then in the pit lane as well as Monkey Gamer, both going in for new tyres on the medium compound. And they both go on to the hards, I believe. Oh, never mind, Monkey's on the mediums again. Mick on the hards now. Well, Clunky getting ever closer now to the rear side of Wabern. And we've seen this a few times today, but will this be the final overtake, ladies and gentlemen? Will this be it? Clunky Boy holding the backside, though. Here we go, then into the pit lane for the Haas driver. Clunky Boy makes a pit stop, and he's on the medium, so we can only assume it'll be the mediums again now for a two-stop strategy. As a tyre wear around here can be a lot worse due to the heat, but no, Clunky does go on to the hards. Maybe it's medium, hard, medium in this Grand Prix. Maybe that's the strategy for him. Well, out in front then, Wabern leads in the Racing Bull with half a second over Sunday in the Haas. And that gap looking to actually get larger at the moment, as Wabern really pulling the gap away. Sunday doing what he can to hold on, but it is the medium tyres for Sunday against the mediums of Wabern. And they are, of course, both the same tyre age, 7 laps. Only 2 drivers on the hard compound. That is Clunky and Mickey Deer, both of them going on to them a few moments ago. Monkey Gamer, of course, on the brand new mediums, pitting on them not too long ago. Well, lap 9 of 29 begins. Wabern leads still. And now a pit stop for Johnny C. On the medium compound. And he goes on to the hards now. Well, we go to the leaders then of Wabern and Sunday in 1 and 2 at the moment. 4/10 of a second between them, and they're running these mediums as long as possible. But will they make a pit stop now? They might just do. No, they're not. They're carrying on. The 10th lap of the Grand Prix begins then. 19 laps remaining. And here comes an overtake for Sunday as he looks around the outside line, getting ever closer to Wabern here for an overtake. Can he do so? He does. Into the race lead. Sunday once again now leads the Bahrain Grand Prix, but how long for? Well, Mick and Monkey Gamer then in P6 and 7th position at the moment. Monkey getting closer, locking up in towards turn 1 goes Mick as well there. Here comes Clunky on SD Bookie then. Clunky on the new tyres, of course. New hard compound. Might have slightly more grip here. Round the outside line for Clunky, but the Mercedes holding on as much as he can. Clunky now clears him into third place. He's finally back on the podium places and in the best position out of everybody here at the moment. 18.8 seconds to the drivers in front. They, of course, haven't made a pit stop just yet, but Clunky is bringing the gap down between them. And the more he does this, the more they're going to struggle in front when time, as time goes on. Well, finally, Sunday into the pit lane. Then Wabin doesn't do the same thing. He's going to leave it a lap later, I assume, and then come in after this. But Sunday now in the pit lane, and I can assume it'll be the hards. Well, can Clunky get ahead then? He does get ahead of his teammates, as well as SD Bookie then. Both of the drivers get through. Clunky now into second place, and that confirms when Wabin goes into the pit lane, Clunky Boy will definitely make that overtake and get in front. Here comes Sundown Bookie as well. They're not too much between them. This looks like a move up the inside line on the hard compound tyres, on the brand new hards as well. Sunday breaks later and now into third place. Both Hasses back on the podium. 3.8 seconds to Clunky Boy as Sunday got. But we're still waiting for Wabin to make that pit stop. 11 laps on the medium, sorry. It's a long time here in the desert in Bahrain. But he's doing a good job at holding them this long so far. Lap 12 of 29 then. Well, everybody very, away from each other in the race at the moment. And this is the sad thing about when we have 8 people, sometimes, or a lot of the time in races, you do get the gaps this large between the drivers, which is a shame. But it is what it is. And, with it being Australian, it can be a lot harder to find drivers to race. A lot of the drivers, I believe, are all in British leagues and, British drivers and things like that. So it is understandable. Absolutely is. But we are 12 laps in of 29. And it does seem like a nice little league so far. So hopefully if you guys enjoy, I'll be back for your commentary. But Wabin in the pit lane then. This is it. Finally, he makes his pit stop on the medium compound tyres. Wabin in for new hards. The mediums come off. And they're 13 laps old as well, by the way. As Clunky Boy ahead, as well as Sunday. And the Haas drivers, as predicted by me at the start with the 1-2 finish, they are currently setting themselves up to be in a very good place for that. As here's Wabin on SD Bookie then, with not much of a gap between these two drivers. Half a second nearly, 4/10 now between them on lap 13 of 29. 16 laps left in the Grand Prix. But only 7 drivers remain as Wild Track did crash into the barriers earlier on with a bit of a mistake. Now Wabin round the outside of Bookie. That was a really easy overtake for him. The Mercedes might be able to try and fight back, but just cannot in time there. as Wayburn will fly in front and hold the third place at the minute. Well, the Haas is out in front, doing a good job at the moment. We are pretty much half race distance now then, ladies and gents. Pretty much half race distance. And not too many battles or anything going on at the moment. They've got the Mercedes aren't far off each other in 4 and 5, and of course the Haas drivers too. It's going to be interesting to see if Sunday can potentially make an overtake here on Clunky Boy. That his tyres are 3 laps younger, and actually bringing the gap down. It was higher than that at the earlier on. Now it's 1.1 seconds. It is really coming down. Using some of his battery as well. However, Clunky does have a little bit more, so that might mess Sunday's plans up a little bit. His bookie with a 3-second time penalty. That is the first penalty of the evening, which is impressive in 14 laps. And the gap now 0.3 of a second. Look how quick that has come down. Sunday now. Will he overshoot it like his teammate did? No, he brakes at the right time. Sunday into the race lead now ahead of Clunky Boy. The Haas driver's still fighting, but Sunday now ahead of his teammate. Only for a moment though as he moves out of the way, and Clunky now back round the outside line. But these Hasses are giving it a good go at the moment. In second place at the minute is Sunday. Clunky Boy as your leader. And here's another overtake for you then. The Haas drivers treating us with some action here. You can see Sunday on the backside of Clunky here, just waiting because he wants the DRS and he'll get it now. Look at that, it is perfectly executed for the Haas driver. Sunday now ahead of his teammate with the DRS, and he might even build a bit of a gap here down in towards turn 1. Really strong stuff there from him as Clunky tries to fight it back, but he knows full well if he gets through here, which driver's going to get the DRS? We're going to find out who has the DRS then through here. It's looking like it'll be Sunday. No, it's not. Sorry, it's Clunky. Clunky gets the DRS then. But that's the bookie with a 3-second time penalty. And that'll be the second penalty to him today, unfortunately. But here we go then, the Haas drivers still going. And, you know, all of this is helping them stay in front of Wayburn. It is 5.8 seconds, and, you know, their perfectly executed overtakes and battles are helping them actually progress here. Well, Clunky Boy and Sunday then still going at it. Sunday waits, and you know why he's done that? Because now he'll get the DRS down here, and this is normally the best place to re-overtake. Can Sunday do it this time? No, is Clunky using all his battery? Sunday has much more with the DRS as well. Now looks for the inside line. Doesn't know which way he's going to go, but breaks late now and does go wide as Clunky regains it up the inside. Now they're fighting through side by side through the right-hander now, through the technical middle sector, but it's Sunday slightly in front here. He takes the outside line as a bit of a gamble. Can it be enough now to get ahead of the Clunky Boy? It is. Sunday now into the lead of the Grand Prix. But fighting back, and they don't want to leave each other alone, do they? Slipping up the outside line now. Clunky Boy not letting this one go at all. Having a really good battle of the two Hasses up at the front, but even then, they don't want to take each other out because it's looking like a Haas 1-2 today with a 4.3 second gap to Waben behind, which is actually coming down slightly. It's Clunky Boy, then on the inside he goes. The Hats driver sending the car, and the back end slides out now for Sunday. He's going to go through. Clunky's back end sliding. Sunday is there at the right time, but now he will get the DRS, and it's looking like he's going to be re-overtaken here. Round the outside line. The drivers battle like their lives depend on it. Clunky being forced a bit wide here, but he's not letting this one go. He wants this lead as much as he can. Such an aggressive manner of driving, but does try to keep it clean. Can Clunky stay ahead of Sunday here? They're fighting side by side. Sunday now back in front. You never know which way it's going to go with these drivers. Look at them round into the left-hand side. Clunky off wide here. Which driver's going to take this lead on lap 18 of 29, going on to lap 19, which will give us 10 laps of racing remaining. In the back, oh, a bit of snap there for Clunky. Has to keep the car straight on the backside of his teammate. As you can see, he's waiting for that DRS, not overtaking on purpose here. And it works every single time. Up the outside line, Clunky Boy as your leader again. Now in towards turn one. Sunday will get the privilege of DRS through here, and Clunky's first few corners there didn't look too strong. It's looking like Sunday is going to be able to help him with this. Up the inside, Sunday now ahead of his teammates, and he doesn't overbreak it this time. But now Clunky finds a gap again and gets back through. They're fighting brilliantly up at the front, but which driver's going to take it every single lap? They're battling so hard at the front. But sliding, Clunky Boy gets in the lead again. And now all of this battling has brought Waben into play. And SD Bucky in the pit lane. Oh, Waben's back end there, sliding out. He will lose quite a bit of time there, and valuable time as well as the laps are running out. Well, once again, it's an overtake then for Clunky. Hits his teammate into the barrier then. Sunday hits the wall. Waben goes through to P2. Clunky Boy puts his teammate in the wall. Sunday hits the barrier. Oh, wow. Well, Clunky leads then, and now Waben's fighting him. Waben into the Grand Prix lead today for the second time. He's back again in front, but Clunky fighting him with it. Not letting him have it. And they battle it so hard down towards the right-hand side here. Who is it going to be as Clunky takes the bollard out now in an attempt to get in front, but he doesn't do it. Waben gets in front now. Sunday is back in. Well, the situation at the moment then on lap 21 of 29 is Waben as your leader into the pit lane for Sunday, of course, with the wing damage, and he gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I would not put it past him if he retires now, to be fair. As Johnny in the pit lane as well, potentially. 12 lap old hards. He's going on to the mediums now till the end. Sunday out on the brand new mediums as well. As SD Bookie retires from the session, I believe that is a huge hit into the wall there. Well, Johnny C's got Mickey Deere in front of him by a second. Waben is your leader as well, and Clunky Boy's half a second behind that. Sunday's a little bit further behind now because he had to make a pit stop. Needed some new tyres and did hit the barrier after a collision with his teammate. Well, it's been a really enjoyable race, everybody. Unfortunately, the action has died down. I do apologise if the commentary levels have dropped a little bit. I'm doing my best for you. Lap 22 of 29, and that is going to start lap 23 now, leaving only 6 laps of racing until the end. Waben and Clunky Boy still your 1 and 2 at the minute. Are they going to change around? Well, there is a Ferrari round of Monkey Gamer on lap 23. Unfortunately, lap 24 now begins, though. And waving across the line with Clunky Boy still behind him by 0.8 of a second, but his tyres are 5 laps older, and that is going to really cause him to struggle. Unfortunately for Clunky, Sunday is not getting any closer either, and a time penalty as well to him. It's Mickey Deere in 4, Johnny 5, Monkey Gamer in P6. That is your only remaining drivers today on lap 24 of 29. Well, SD Bookie with the follow. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate that. Hopefully having a nice day, of course, out of the Grand Prix tonight. It's a shame to see SD Bookie and Wild Track, both drivers out of the Grand Prix today. But lap 25 about to begin then. And Wabin and Clunky still your only 2 drivers up at the front. Fighting with Clunky 0.6 of a second. The gap then. Wabin taking the pit wall now all the way down towards turn 1. On the 25th lap of 29. 4 laps remaining. Monkey Gamer goes round again. 2 laps in a row at the same place. Well, across the line then, lap 26, still the same position as lap before. Unfortunately, no positions changed, and actually the position between Wabin and Clunky, the gap has got larger rather than smaller. Now 9/10, what a second then down the straight. And Clunky seeming to really struggle now on the 18-lap old hards, really is struggling. And you can see them graining as well. Only a few laps to go now, though, to bring them home. But in an unexpected turn of events, Wabin is looking like your race winner today if it carries on this way. Which is very shocking. It was not looking that way earlier. Mickey Deere with a 3-second time penalty as well. There's a second driver with a penalty now. Which is fairly impressive, you know. It really, really is. I've seen a lot worse. Seen a lot worse in league, so not bad at all. Yellow flags in the final sector, and Monkey Gamer has gone around again. Now back on, just as we went on to him. But he did go around, unfortunately, and multiple times we've seen him do that today. He is struggling, you know, and his tyres are 10 laps old. And if he's struggling, Clunky Boy has nearly got double the tyre age, which is just incredible how he's carrying on and, you know, not making any mistakes. Well, 13 seconds of time penalties for Sunday, of course, after picking up a 10-second penalty in the pit lane, and then also picked up a 3. Mikadir also now with 3 seconds of penalties. I think Bookie had penalty earlier as well, but of course he's not here anymore. And position changes then for the drivers as Monkey Gamer going slowly. Position changes. Wayman's up 1 place since the start. Clunky's down 1 after starting on pole today, and a huge pole margin of about like 0.8 of a second or something like that. It was huge. Sunday in 3rd, still in the same place as where he began, as well as Mickey Deer and Johnny. And Monkey Gamer going round again. He's up 1 place since the start, so he's doing well. He's doing okay, even if he's at the back. I had 6 seconds, no worries, Bookie. It's good to see him in the chat for the first time today. Hopefully doing well. Monkey Gamer, unfortunately, keeps you know, heading slowly, and I don't think it's going too well for him anymore. As Clunky Boy in the pit lane at the very end of this race will drop down places, and on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix comes out on the brand new mediums. I mean, you'd expect the softs, but I think because he used so many in the qualifying session, you can't go onto them. Wabin then in the Racing Bull, making his way around, and won't be long before he starts his final lap of the Grand Prix. And a well-deserved win when it comes his way. It has really been a good race from him. Monkey Gamer with some new tyres now coming out on the brand new softs. He didn't use all his softs in the qualifying. Of course, 0 lap old there, brand new. So has a fresh set. But here comes Wabin then as he begins his final lap of the Grand Prix this evening here in Formula OB-1 for round 3 in the Bahrain Grand Prix. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the commentary tonight. I'm sure I'll be back if the owner wants it, but it's been quite a nice race, quite chilled out in times. The first few laps were great, and the action was just incredible. And I'm hoping we can, you know, get that in future races as well. Really good action at the start. It just died down towards the end and the midpoints, but Wabin has kept it alive at the front. And 29 long laps of racing in the Racing Bull, 29 long laps and 16 hard racing laps on this man's hard compound tyres. How he has done that, I do not know, but it is impressive running the tyres that long in this hot of a climate. But Wabin has done it, and now only 1 sector to go to round off his race this evening. Around the final corner we go. Wabin in the Racing Bull after racing brilliantly today. A thoroughly deserved win. He'll cross the line and win the Bahrain Grand Prix for the 3rd round of the season. Sunday will take 2nd place, but 14 seconds down the road, he will lose that place actually when he gets there, because Mick will be behind, and although he's got a penalty, Sunday's got a 10-second time penalty. Mick over the line then will take 2nd place in the Williams. Sunday will take 3rd, but Clunky might just take this at the end. He does. Clunky Boy on the podium. Sunday will take 4th. Johnny now takes 4th. This penalty is messing Sunday up down to 5th. Monkey Gamer have to wait for him to finish his lap now. He's quite far behind. And once Monkey Game is finished, that'll be the end of tonight's Grand Prix. Well, that's it then, everybody. To round off the Grand Prix, no worries, Bookie in the chat. Thanks for joining us. That'll be it from me. Just have to quickly check the results, and then we will be finished. Well, the results then for the Grand Prix tonight. It is the race winner, OB-1, fastest lap Clunky, as well as the driver of the day. Most overtakes Mick Adair, and the cleanest driver